It's the 2nd of December, and that means that officially winter started yesterday, so I'm heading out for what's going to be my first wild camp of winter on my own, and I've brought this tiny little wood stove with me, the Solo Stove, which I hope is going to be enough to keep me warm, as well as the heat water and cook my food on. I just slipped and fell trying to get a shot of that waterfall. Making skid marks in the mountains already, haven't even begun. I haven't actually been out that much over the last 2 to 3 months, really from September onwards. I just didn't get out as much at all. A big part of that has been the last few weeks. Been incredibly busy with work. I've completed probably about the equivalent of 2 months normal work in 3 weeks. Thankfully, I managed to hit all my major deadlines yesterday. I have smaller things to tidy up, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to take Friday off and go camping, and I need to hurry up because I'm trying to find a new spot over there. I want to find somewhere nice, low to the water. I have this idea in my head of a silhouetted shot, water in the background, a little camp stove going, tent. I sometimes come up with ideas for shots before I actually go out and actually shoot the video, but we'll see what happens. I need to hurry up because I've got less than 2 hours before it gets dark, so I'm gonna go find the spot and then we'll get set up. Oh, and by the way, thanks very much for all the support for my channel members. Your membership helps me get out and make more videos like this. Let's go on. This'll work. Okay, right, I've now only got 1 hour until it gets dark, so I'm just gonna get the campsite all set up and then I'll show you the stove. There's sheep dung everywhere. So tonight I'm using the smallest tent I own, which is the Rab Ridge Raider Bivy. It's absolutely tiny. The entire tent fits in this. It's so small. So I'm gonna put that up. I'm sticking up this tiny tarp. This is a DD Tarps Magic Carpet. It's really, really small, but it's super, super light, compact, and it means I can put up a little space where if it rains, I can just get in under it and be dry. I'm actually really, really bad at doing the knots for tarps, so I'm gonna show you how I'm cheating. So I bought these little metal line tensioners, which means you just wrap it around a tree a few times and then just hook it in. It's so quiet. Listen. You can hear a car somewhere in the background. But there's not a breath of wind. If this was the summer, I would be getting eaten alive by midges right now. So let's take a look at this stove. It's in here, it's tiny. I need to speak quickly because the light is fading. I wish I got here sooner, but I had one last job to get done in Belfast, which kind of makes me sound like some sort of gangster or criminal. I hit it into Belfast because I had one last job to get done. One last job and I was out of this business for good. Where was I? Oh yes, Solo Stove. So this is the Solo Stove Lite. The weight of it is here and the cost of it is here because I forgot to memorize those, but there it is. It's teeny tiny little wood burning stove. It's about, that's a 1 litre Nalgene, so it's, you know, pretty small compared to that. In the top here, you can have a look inside, is this little pot stand that comes up, flips around and sits like that. So your actual burn area in here is pretty small, but what makes this different from just like a standard box stove is these holes around the top here. So the theory with this is what you call a wood gas stove, and the idea is once the wood gets burning, there's like a secondary burn from wood gases that start to, I don't understand it completely, but basically it's supposed to burn cleaner and without smoke. It's kind of similar to that little lo-fi stove that I reviewed ages ago, except that this isn't powered by a fan, and even though it's quite small, it is quite a bit bigger than the lo-fi stove, and I imagine it does need a bit more room for that secondary combustion to work. Now, one other neat trick this has up its sleeve is it is the perfect size to put an alcohol burner down in the side, you know, like from a Trangia. That would just drop right down in there, and then the stove acts as a really nice windshield for it. Now, I thought that was a bit of a gimmick, and then I realised there's a lot of time I get to the campsite and I'm exhausted and I just want to have a brew before doing anything else. So I'm actually going to do that now. I'm going to light up the alcohol stove, boil some water, make myself a cup of coffee and sit here, and then I'm going to go and start some wood prep and actually get this thing lit, because this thing is lit, or it will be lit. Lit. And it's finally boiled. That took forever. Now, how do I put this out? Yeah, here we go. I've got my kitchen area, then I've got my sleeping, living area over there. Yeah, it's not a bad little spot. Look, see a little bit of light up there. The sun basically made one final effort at something resembling a sunset, and the top of that hill, I'm not going to call it a mountain, it's tiny, lit up for a second. Bit slippy. Don't try this at home. Ooh. Yes, I may have dumped a little bit of methylated spirits on the top of that. There we go. Wow. Okay, that was kind of tricky to light, but now that it's burning, it's actually burning really well. Maybe I just needed to bring a little bit of dry material with me because everything here is soaking wet. You know what? It's amazing what a little bit of heat will do. I'm actually my chair sunk into the ground. I'm actually going to take my hat off. There's a lot more heat coming off that than you'd think. It's a completely windless night as well, so there's no wind taking the heat away. Oh no. Forgot about the little do not eat packet. Just quickly want to show you this. This is one of the most useful camping accessories you can get. This is a pocket bellows and extends out like this. It lets you blast oxygen right into the center of the fire, which can get something going from what looks like a pile of ashes to a blazing fire, again. And they're super cheap. I'll link them in the description. It is now 11:15, and this stove has been burning continuously for 4 hours. Solid. 4 hours solid, and yes, that was another voice because I was sitting here in the dark minding my own business, and then out of the darkness turns up Neil here.
Me. Hi folks.
Initially I thought I was going to be murdered, but it turned out Neil was supposed to be going camping with somebody else who didn't turn up.
Don't name him.
Don't name him. Well, not name Rob. I was then able to use the stove to heat Neil's food. Was it warm?
Beautiful. Yes, very warm.
So there you go.
Good job.
Yeah. Unexpected benefit of the stove. Random strange people walking through the forest. I'm gonna get so many comments telling me this is a really bad idea. He's sitting there with a knife. Yeah, I've never met this man before.
No.
He's a very sharp knife.
Yeah.
And he's making a pointy stick.
Just 2 pointy sticks.
Hopefully see you in the morning. Bye, Neil. Thank you for not murdering me. Look at that. It's like glass. Good morning. Last night, I had the poop scared out of me because I was standing up at the campsite and I could see the moon. And then I realised the moon was coming towards me through the trees, and then I realised it wasn't the moon, it was a head torch. And see, when you're out in the forest, there's nothing worse than encountering another person at random. Because you don't know who's coming, so you're kind of looking around, where's the nearest big stick, where's my axe? Poor Neil was supposed to have met somebody to go camping here, and the other person stood him up, so he was like walking up and down the shoreline. for about an hour trying to find his friends who never showed. So Neil ended up pitching up down near me. I let him use the stove to heat his food. So yeah, it turns out the Solo Stove is quite a sociable little burner. And what I thought was going to happen was that it would sort of get filled up with ash, and then it would sort of smoke itself out. But I have a little pocket bellows, little extendable pocket bellows. So with the pocket bellows, I was able to jet oxygen into the bottom of the stove, burn up all the sort of the coals, the char, and the ash that was in there, and then dump a pile more wood in the top, and then it would ignite and it would burn, and it was great. It gave out a decent amount of heat. It was enough to warm me. I did have to take my hat off at one point. I had to take a layer off because it was giving off quite a bit of heat. Now you had to be very close to it to get any of that heat. Yeah, I've been slightly impressed by it. It is on the expensive side. You can buy sort of cheapy box stoves for less money. I guess with Solo Stove you are paying a little bit into the brand, but also the fact that it's got that double walled chamber, so it's designed to like give a secondary burn and burn cleaner and so on, and it, you know, it burned all evening, and what you put in it burned to nothing. Like it burned to, like, there was almost zero ash after 4 hours of burning. I tipped it out, hardly anything came out of it. So yeah, neat bit of kit, and what I really liked is it has a little alcohol burner in the top, so in the morning when I could be bothered lighting a fire, put the alcohol burner in, put my cup on, and I was able to get my morning brew without having to mess around with fires. But yeah, fun night, eventful night, amazing location. I'm gonna head back now, back to my van, get cleaned up, and then I think I'm gonna spend the morning hiking in the mountains. But thanks for coming along on this first wild camp of winter, and maybe someday I'll bump into you in the dead of night in the forest. And I'll be armed to the teeth. Bye-bye.